conference will now be recorded.
Hey everybody, it's Crypto Boomers. I'm here with Bud. It is Wednesday, December 9th, and we're here to chat a little bit about this market on this pullback. Bud, are you there?
Yeah, hi Paul.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a pullback here, kind of what we were talking about a little bit last week.
Yeah, it's nice that at least Bitcoin is making some kind of decision. I'm only ever used to Bitcoin moving up or down. It's very dull when it just goes sideways, but that's what we've had for a while now since we've reached this high again, the 19,000s. But we had that initial correction, and then it came roaring back up, and I thought, this is it. We're finally going. And it was on my birthday, which happened to me in 2017. That's when it broke 10,000. Was my birthday back in 2017.
Wow.
So I thought I was getting another birthday present.
Well, it did.
But no, it's decided to be rejected, and it's going down a bit now.
Yeah, it did give us that look. You go back to 17 and the high was 19, what was it? 19,220 on this chart. And we come out here, and I think the high on the 30th, let's see, the high 19,918. So, and then since then it went sideways like you were talking about. Now we've had a little bit of a pullback down to that trend line. So we'll see. You know, this is giving some opportunities in other coins to add to your stack or get into some that you may not already have. And one of those is Bitcoin Cash. We talked a bit about that. That's one of our favorites. And if you look at this chart in this pullback, what are your thoughts there, Bud?
Yeah, so I love this because when you look at Bitcoin Cash and its macro move over the longer term, going back from its inception, you have this absolutely enormous triangle that's formed, like you've got there. Mm-hmm. And you can see that we've broken out of that and we're coming back, and it looks like we're trying to test the top of that triangle. Now that reminds me of the same pattern we've seen in Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin has actually bust out of its pattern that's been in within 3 years, and so I'm hoping for the same in Bitcoin Cash, that it's got a lot of catching up to do, though. It's pretty low with its in Bitcoin price against Bitcoin. So I think it could have, but it can move when it goes. Oh, I remember this. It's one of the fewer coins I actually have done very well with, being patient, getting in at the right times. And now I'm just waiting for this to explode to a moon, as we say.
Right. We I think it was in this area here that we put this box here for a pullback, and of course it went on up, but has since come back down, and now we've gotten back down in that box. If we moved it over, we're right down there again. But you know, Bitcoin Cash is one that we talked about last week. It has not kept up with the moves like in Ethereum. If you look at the charts side by side or compare them, you know, Ethereum, even still, it's got a little healthy pullback here, but it still looks strong.
Yeah, just going back to Bitcoin Cash, I mean, if you do actually look at it on a macro basis, and you look at this triangle pattern, we are in the tip of that. I mean, the tip where something is going to happen either way.
Right.
What I've done is I've drawn, you know, what we've learned in our education with on the Patreon is that when we have one of these big triangle patterns, we can draw a line at the start of the triangle from the top to bottom, and then we can copy that and take that to the breakout point, and that's our first target, is that run. And I've got that first target that basically I've got a nice sell box where it hits in the 2000s, but it sometimes doesn't just go one times, it sometimes goes 2 or even 2.5 times in crypto. So if we go 2.5 times this pattern, I mean, that's taken us up to, you know, up to $12,000, which is one of the targets I think we have or have had in the past, which is just incredible from an asset that's $266 right now.
Right. The upside from here, I think, on Bitcoin Cash is very appealing to me, for sure. What's another coin you're looking at?
Well, I just got off from buying Tezos XTZ. Tezos is a longer term project. I know we have some very, very big targets way out in the future on Tezos. But these prices, I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. Oh, I've waited for the best part of, I don't know, over a year and a half, I think, watching it, just keeping an eye on it. And I've written down when it gets close to $2, start, you know, really accumulating and buying. And so I think we dipped under $2 today. So I went and picked some up, but that's just, again, thanks to our training, you know, an idea of waiting and being patient and picking it up where you think it's a good place.
Yeah, agreed. This is a coin that I've been in and out of several times, and it's a long, like you said, I think you said it's a long-term project, but if anybody was wanting to get into the project, they ought to be looking at this chart, for sure. Like you say, we had a drop to $2 essentially. So that's a very good one to look at. What were the targets that we had for
Do you remember
Tezos?
when you got out?
This
Oh,
last time,
Tezos.
the last time
Well,
I got out, no, the last time I got out was in August. So it was probably, it was in the fours, I think. So, right, it wasn't at the very top, but it was probably 411 rings a bell, somewhere in there.
hmm,
So,
that's
and I have
great.
not,
Look at you.
yeah, well, you know, every
That's
every
great, Paul. You got out at the top there.
yeah, every now and then you hit it. If I'm within 20%, I feel like I'm pretty good. If I'm within 20% of the top or bottom, I feel like I'm doing all right. So that was one that it had such a run up so quick that I just had to take the profits. So moved it over into another crypto. But yeah, so in the interest of keeping
With Tezos,
yeah, go ahead.
with Tezos, I had a buy target of around about $2, and anything, you know, under $2 or $2 is definitely a good place to accumulate. I've got this in my B list of coins to have in my portfolio and to trade way into the future. So this is one that I plan on accumulating. And I've got just a target. Now, this is a target way, way, way out in 2040, but it's in hundreds of thousands because it's such an important project for the world.
Right.
Now, obviously, it's going to take a long time to get there, but I mean, I want to look back and talk to my kids when I'm old and say, hey, I got into Tezos when it was under $2.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah, this is definitely a long-term project that you should be able to get in and out of and add to on these swings over the next several years. But yeah, for sure, you want to end up with a bunch of these. So did you bite? You know, had a nice pullback. You and I were talking a little bit. I had my business partner got in there yesterday. So, you know, he was in the 1.9, I think, cent range. So we'll see. That's another one that is just very much poised to take off and give us some multiple X's on that. That's a great project if somebody wants to check that out. So, all
Yeah,
right,
it's got a
man.
big
Well,
community. Did you buy? No?
yes.
And I'm planning on, I'm going to take some profit when I'm hoping it can get to $1. And then I think there's a second target that's a bit longer of $3. But if it gets anywhere near those targets, I mean, that would be sensational.
Yeah, Digibyte's definitely one that I'm going to ride up, and when it gets to those targets, 80 cents area, I plan on pulling the trigger, and then when it pulls back, getting some more of it, because I do think it's gonna be a great project moving forward, and it's going to give us a ton of opportunities to make quite a bit.
Yeah, and thanks to Jay again in the Patreon, in that I think he helped with the targets on that, and there was a day back in March where that fell to
Yeah,
0.002, I think it is. And I
yeah.
remember buying some of it then. I mean, that was unbelievably cheap. And so we've already done a 10x from that low. But
Oh, it
that's
was.
the power of this Patreon.
Yeah, that was an incredible buy down there, and Jay called that in uh, the Bitcoin Academy Patreon group, and it's obviously you can see what it's done since then. What is that? It was 0.002. So 2/10 of 1 penny, and now on this pullback, it's at 2 cents, and it went all the way up to nearly 4, 3.7. So even if you would have just gotten out in this area, that's what is that, 10, 15 times your money, and you'd have had more chances to get back in. So yeah, another one that's moving nicely for swing traders.
Yeah, it looks like it's holding the 50 there as well.
Yep.
50 moving average. So yeah, that looks strong.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. All right. Well, I won't keep you. We'll keep this short and sweet, and move on to the next week. Whenever things start moving, we'll hop back on here and have a chat about where we think it's going. Certainly still has the opportunity to come down some. Litecoin we did not cover, so we might cover that real quick, but Litecoin looks like it could, depending on what Bitcoin does. Bitcoin's the granddaddy, but Litecoin, I've got a target back down in the 65 range. But it doesn't have to do anything. It can do whatever it wants to do. So just keep an eye on the granddaddy, and we'll go from there and keep on investing wisely, I guess, is what the order of the day is, right, bud?
Yeah, just do safe and sensible big positions in some of the better cryptos. And yeah, I would say try to take the emotion out of it, get the training, and enjoy the ride.
The training, you mentioned that a couple of times, but the training is the most important thing. The Bitcoin Academy is the gold standard of crypto investing, and how to do it. Not only do we get to watch Jay and kind of follow in his footsteps, but we also get to learn so that we can make our own decisions. Because, quite frankly, I don't, and nor should anybody, invest in anything because somebody tells you to. We don't give investment advice here, and you need to learn how to manage your own money. And that the Bitcoin Academy is a great place to not only learn uh, what someone that is an influencer in a group of $150 million, but also what he does personally. So it's a great opportunity. If anybody is interested, they need to check that out. So we'll have links.
Yeah, Paul, I just mentioned something there. I've been in crypto for 5 years or so, and I this week had some training from our friends there at the Bitcoin Academy, and the training was the most important training I've had in that entire time, and it was all about security. And there's so many things. Even though that I've spent this length of time in cryptocurrency, I had my mind blown by the security practices that you can take, the things that they're tracking, the things to do to prevent your data being stolen, and to look after and safeguard your crypto. So before any trading, before any purchases, I would say that the most important aspect of this industry is learning how to secure your assets in the first place.
That's an excellent excellent advice there, because the education that George gives and the background that he has is stellar. I truthfully, you will not find a better education in crypto and in security than through the Bitcoin Academy. So that's good advice. So until next time, everybody, keep on investing.